Well, welcome everybody to another episode of Uncle Garrett and
Aunt May.
Hi, how you doing? I hope you're doing great. We have more today on resolving conflicts. Today we're going to go a little bit more into what to do if your partner, your significant other cannot or will not emotionally control themselves in an argument or a conflict. So let's start out with some ideas. Aunt May, would you like to start?
Okay, first I would, respectfully ask them, do you feel upset? Can you relax a little bit?
Yeah, and that's an important thing. Sometimes people start getting angry and upset and don't really realize it at first. And that brings us to a second point, which is I think it's important to establish ground rules. Things like what Aunt May and I have done is that we've agreed that if anyone gets angry or upset, that's grounds for an apology. So if and I've done this before, so I've apologized many times, and it happens, I start to express myself emotionally and start to feel anger, rather than simply saying something like, well, this upsets me a little bit. I feel a little upset about this, or I feel kind of angry about this. Let's discuss this. Instead of just saying it and requesting a discussion, I raise my voice or express emotional anger somehow. And so one of the ground rules is if you get upset or angry, you should apologize. And so that way, if someone says, oh, do you feel upset? That's an immediate reminder of the ground rules.
Oh, yeah. But if they still couldn't calm, and I would say, like, I can feel you feel hurt, and I love you, and I hope you feel better. I hope you can calm down, and we need to discuss this issue, what hurt you, and how we should do to resolve the problem later, when in a time we both feel really happy and loving. So for now, I want you to calm and relax.
Right.
But maybe they were so stressed, they still couldn't. They were still shouting and yelling to you. And this is time that you have to ignore them, unfortunately. But, here is a temptation. That is actually two things you really need to focus. Number one is that you need to hold your emotions cool and calm, because in this scenario, your anger can be easily triggered out. So please focus your controlling your own emotion, not
Right.
let it go loose.
Right. And then another thing is that you have to be able to resist the temptation to fight back. And so what are ways you can fight back? One is defend yourself. Oh, what I did wasn't so bad, and that's not going to calm down anyone, unfortunately. But you're partly to blame also. That's another thing that it's not going to calm anyone down. So, that's a very hard temptation to resist.
Especially when the other party is accusing you for something actually you might be innocent. It's very hard to not jump in to prove you're right. Yeah.
And of course, you're always right. Right.
Yeah.
And the other temptation, or what makes it even harder to resist, is the idea that it's very tempting to fall into the idea that your significant other is actually doing something to purposely hurt you. And I think normally in a loving relationship, that's not the case, even though sometimes it really feels that way.
Yes, it is. We always feel like a fear of the worst case, or a lot of time just vulnerably thinking the other party did this action because the worst scenario motivation behind it. Most time is not true. It's just because the precondition, we had similar situation in life, somebody else did that. Somebody else didn't really love us did that. So assume the other parties, our loved ones, also doing that. Most of the cases is really a lot more of a misunderstanding than the intentional hurting us. So
Right.
we really need to
Yeah.
stay calm.
And that's why curiosity is so important. Instead of assuming the other is out to hurt you, be curious and say, well, why did you say that? What's going on? And I think we're going to dedicate another session just on the subject of the link between curiosity and love. But enough of that for now. So, Aunt May, what if someone is passive aggressive?
Oh, this, can we just hold off this passive aggressive topic a little bit? I want to finish up a little bit what just Uncle Gary said about the second thing that we need to avoid the temptation, which actually elaborate on top of what he said is that do not try to argue back when the other party is lashing out. Do not try to win the battle. Do not try to force the other party to say, we are right, they are wrong. Because you can force the horse to the river, but can't force the horse to drink. As long as the other party, they do not want to feel secure or loving, comfortable to unwind their problem, to actively, willingly to look down into their problem. They are not going to change the best for you. They are just, maybe you can temporarily force them to say, okay, you're right, but resentment in the heart. So they won't really change it for you. So you actually didn't achieve anything. You just win the surface battle.
Right.
But on the fundamental level, they're not going to change it for you because they feel attacked.
If you try to argue logically, and really there's emotional problems, speaking logically isn't going to help.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Ultimately, you do not want to be a winner of the fight. Rather, you want to be a warm, loving support to help the other to discover the problem and happily to change it for you.
Right.
So, Uncle Garrett, do you want to get on the passive-aggressive?
Passive-aggressive is just another form of anger. It's just a different way of expressing anger. And once again, it should be treated like anger, and also in the ground rules, In the ground rules, we mutually recognize that passive-aggressive is just another expression of anger and something to be avoided. But there are maybe different ways of dealing with that, and that is just expressing the willingness to listen and to try and solve the problem. Because a lot of times a passive-aggressive attitude arises from maybe the idea that I just want to give up, I don't want to try anymore. It's not worth arguing.
So at the moment, I would say, I see you feel hurt, and I love you so much, and I understand you don't want to talk for now, but I will wait until in another time when you feel really good and happy. I like to listen to why you feel this way and what I can do for you. So go back to visit the problem in another time.
Yeah.
And like Uncle Garrett said, when right now, when you set the rules, agreement between two parties, you should also add one condition, which is passive aggressive is not allowed in the relationship because it closed the door for improved relationship.
Right.
Yeah. So,
is there anything else?
Yes,
to add on that subject?
yes, just a little bit. The other, a minor upset, which we can call mind upset, or we can call it hidden upset. Is in the scenario the other party didn't explode, instead go inward, like distance themselves a little bit, or you can see the facial expression or any body language show they are upsetting. Because they didn't want to bring it up. So my suggestion is dealing with this kind of scenarios, we just show love and support as usual. But in another time when they feel really happy and loving, then you can see, oh, I remember the other day I said something and then I noticed you may disagree with me. Can you tell me a little more about that? Yeah. I really want to, maybe there's something I missed or I can change for you.
So
I care very much.
I think maybe what you're trying to say is don't let all the minor little hurts accumulate.
Yes.
Try to address them as they come,
yes,
so that they don't build up, because the attitude of, well, he or she they'll get over it, they'll pout for a while and then everything will be just fine, is a formula for the hurt to accumulate, and that's where the arguments about nothing come from. Just the smallest little thing triggers kind of an avalanche of emotions, and you didn't wash that fork the right way, and it turns into this big blowout, and that's because of the accumulated bad feelings that have gone unaddressed.
Yeah, and another scenario is that it could be right of a misunderstanding, but if we didn't clear up that misunderstanding, that could build a image in their mind about us, and they might thought there was right, true, and they might act upon that to treat us back. So never let that happen. To maintain and clarify a healthy relationship, just like always weed and water the plant. Yeah. Don't let anything steal the health of your relationship.
Yes. Yeah. Good maintenance always.
Another little tip, but it's quite important, is that when you see any little improvement they make, even just a baby step, appreciate them and encourage them to help them stay on the track.
Yes, very important.
We hope that all of you have a richer and healthier and a sweet relationship in the future.
And bless you for listening. And like Aunt May says, I hope things are getting better and better for you. And we just really appreciate you listening. Please remember to hit like and subscribe for more. There are more great things to come. So until next time, this is Uncle Garrett.
This is Aunt May.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome very much. This is Uncle Garrett.
Please don't do that. Please don't do that.